Hello, beautiful Rise community. This is Nuna Isim here, and I'm so delighted for another session in the series Passion, Purpose, and Profit. Today we have Therese Skelly with us. She is a business intuitive working with high achieving, mission driven women who are ready to live and work in alignment and are no longer willing to hustle and burn themselves out. Yes, please. She's also the author of the best-selling book, Love-Based Mission, How to Create a Business That Serves Your Soul. Wonderful work, and I'm so looking forward to dive to this. Hello and welcome, Therese.
Hello, my dear. I'm delighted to be back with you. I was with one of your other summits, and when I got this invitation to hang out with you and be in this beautiful energy in this community, I was a big yes. So I'm looking forward to our time together.
We had such a great talk last time, and this time
oh my gosh,
so super aligned. So I'm looking forward to create some magic together as we do. Yeah. Right. So business intuitive. Tell us a little bit about how you help how you help women and which women are coming to you for help. Let's start there.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start there. Well, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I was a psychotherapist for 20 plus years. So I have this depth of understanding, like more than most people in the industry, like what goes on with the psychology. And then I moved into business coaching. And I did that for 20 some years. I've been around, like some of those overlapped. I haven't been in the industry like 97 years. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I was only a therapist. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I really had this like not enoughness because I didn't have an MBA. I never worked in the business world, right? I just threw myself in the pool and learned to swim. And so what was happening is that I started having like people just like, oh my God, you know so much about mindset. Like I trust you way more than most business coaches because you understand, right? So I started owning it. And then probably 6-7 years ago, I started realizing that I knew stuff and it wasn't what they taught me in therapy school, right? And I'm like, how do I know they have a curse? And how do I know how to clear it? What? I mean, it was just like, wait, what? So it was a hard, allowing, a hard like accepting, like, wow, I have this wildly beautiful ninja intuition. So what I do now, it's a magnificent blend. So I work with generally women, I have some men, but generally women, and women that they know what they want. They're fiercely mission driven. They are here to make a difference. And they've had all the strategy. They've had all the gurus. They know all the stuff. And they're like, either I'm not where I want, I know I'm holding myself back, or I'm sick of what I built. Like I know there's more for me. That kind of pivot. And so what I do is I literally blend all three. So I usually start with my intuition. Like I'll give an example. It's like, what do you desire? And somebody will say, I desire this. And then I can tune in and go, oh yeah, but there's some blocks. So then I'll go in and clear that. And so it's like, you have to be aligned to your purpose, your mission. And then we clear everything that's not aligned. And then I get you what I call embodied, like it's got to be living in you. You have to be the steward of that in the world. And then we get you into the inspired action. So I use all the three things. It's magical. And I have so much fun. And it's very fast. That's what I like. It's not like 17 years worth. It's like boom, boom, boom. Like it's super fast and very effective. So it brings me a lot of joy to be able to do that. And to have finally landed, right? After all these years, like, oh, I know what I do. Because it took me a while to figure all that out and figure out how to talk about it.
Such beautiful sharing of, and I think that, many women can relate in some way, is that sometimes we are called to do something that we actually don't have any certifications or accolades or, some things, after our name. And yet we have this burning primal understanding and intuition, and we called to do that. And then we holding ourselves back because how dare we, right?
I know. So many of my people are like, well, I'll do that after I get a certification, or I'll do that. And it's like, no, if it's in your soul, you just start. So it was so crazy. Back in 2001, I had been a therapist. I just had gone to life coaching school. I went to one networking meeting and I got on a newsletter list. and there was an ad that said business coaches wanted. And seriously, no, I never had any business background. I never read a business book. I worked in an insurance agency when I was 18 as a secretary, and I sucked. That was it. That was my whole. And I see an ad that says business coaches wanted, and on paper there was nothing logical about that. And I saw my hands just going to the keyboard. My head's like, fuck, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? And my soul was like, just do it. And it was the first time I remember so clearly going, oh, this is insane. Okay. And I followed the prompting, even though it made no sense. And that one decision, I can say that one decision, more than any other decision I've ever made, changed the whole trajectory of my life. And so follow those old prompts, right? It's just, you just got to follow. It's crazy as it is. And then you'll be supported. You'll be guided. Like I learned all the things, right? You learn. So.
Yeah, right. So yeah, the takeaway is you don't need necessarily all these training and certifications if you really have something that you feel in your soul called to do, and you are already probably even doing that on some level, right, with friends and family and people. And it's just about really getting that inner alignment of you claiming your crown, because really nobody will crown you and say, okay, now you are ready to go and teach. It's really something internal, right?
So much. Yeah, we're just flipping our crowns off most of the time, right? That's right. I love that. I love how you said that.
Right. So I just want to ask you, like, if you can give us some practical, actionable ways of, say somebody is now in that situation of either they are called to do something that they like, what? Not quite, aligned to the two, or not aligned, but not quite, feeling confident about this new calling, or they pivot into something else, or they feel there's something else for them. What is the next steps?
Yeah. So those are two different things. I have to plug my computer in. So hold on one second. Let me just, I don't want to leave you, but I don't want the thing to die here. So let's say you're brand new or newerish, right? So you haven't yet done the thing. So, and sometimes we do want to learn. Maybe you do want to learn how to get a little coaching training, or maybe there, but I don't want you to have to. I can't do it until, like, if it's that would be yummy, and I would enjoy some learning, or I would enjoy getting a little support. My clients, when they work with me, they become 1,000 times better coaches because they learn by being a client working with a good coach, right? So there's many ways to get the mentoring that doesn't involve plopping down $20,000 for a certification that you may not use, right? So let's say you're starting from scratch. Usually we are our client. Usually we have overcome something. We go through the stuff, and then we're on the other side, so that it's like, whoa, I could share this. So the number one thing is, what's your message? Figure out what you want to, what's your gift? What's the thing? If you're standing on that mountain and you scream to the world, like, it doesn't have to be this way. This is what's true, right? Figure out what that is. And when I work with my clients that are in this, I don't usually work with startup people, but this is what I used to. I would literally say, okay, you were here and now you're over here. I would coach their process out of them. Okay, so when you're here, let's just say weight. Like, let's say you've lost a bunch of weight, and you could help somebody, and not necessarily personal training, maybe the emotional part of weight loss or the identity part or whatever. I would say, where were you? So where were you? What was your story? And then how did you break through? What was the mindset? What was the action? Like I literally, if you could write down your process, and then you get a few people and say, let's do an experiment. See, when you do an experiment, or when it's a beta program, your mind's like, okay, well, it's not really real. So because if you're like, okay, I'm in business, all the gremlins are going to be like, you really, you know nothing, you have nothing. But if you're like, it's an experiment, I'm getting a couple of people to help me. Like, see, it's a really light way to hold it. So you get a couple of people and just say, I have this process, I've been on this journey, and I'd love to walk you through this. Normally I charge $1,000, but if you give me feedback, we kind of, you help me figure out what works, what doesn't, I'll charge you $400 for it. Then you've got some experience behind you. And so it doesn't have to be, you can't do it till you have a website. You can't do that. It's just do the work, but you got to figure out. And now what some people do is they say, well, I'll just tell them my story. Well, that's cool and all, but that's not really it. Like there has to be processes. Like you made a decision, then you hit a bottom, and then you stumbled, and then you got back up. Like there has to be points along the way where you did something. And so sometimes you might not be able to figure that out. You might need somebody like me or somebody to pull that out of you. So that's the first one. You want to say anything about that? Because I know you probably do the same thing as well. But
yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think that's really the way to go, as you said, because, I also help people write their books, and oftentimes, sometimes they know their message are very clear about it, already helping people, and they've got a practice. And sometimes they not yet figured out exactly their message, and that's exactly the process that I'm taking them is, what did life presented you with, right? Because it's always accurate. And then let's see, what steps did you take in that process? What are the steps? What helped you? Because when something happens to you, when you are on your knees, usually, right? So that's when it happens. You want to crawl out and look for help, and you start geeking on books, you start reaching out for help, you start watching YouTube videos, however you going about it, but you definitely coming out of your comfort zone and starting to right to find that help, and that is part of the process. Along the way, you find what helps, what doesn't help, and oftentimes what helps you can definitely help others, and that's where you start.
Right.
Yeah, love it.
So I want to say this because what I listen for, as a therapist, and I'm intuitive, so I got that double whammy working for me. And what I hear objection. So when you're talking, I literally tune in, people going, yeah, but that's different. I can't, like, I when people speak, like, I'm like, I'm hearing objections. And one objection is, who am I? How is my story different? Tony Robbins has already done that. Oprah's already talked about that. And it's really easy. Like, let's just do a little tutorial. Your brain wants to keep you safe. The primary job of your brain, the way it is wired, is to keep you from being attacked by a furry animal that's going to jump out of you, right? Literally, that's how it's wired. And so the brain is going to fire off. And the way it looks like today, it's not like, oh my gosh, run because there's a mammoth coming at me. The way it looks like today is, you can't do that. Oh my God, what are people going to think? You're going to be so stupid. You're going to fail. Blah, blah, blah. Like the way it fires today, the safety today is, don't do that. Because if you stay there just, fat and happy, basically, you're safe. You're not rocking the boat. But oh my God, if you actually put yourself out, if you say you're an expert, if you charge money, right? And so what you have to understand is your brain is not about your evolution. It's not about you being self-actualized and getting your mission. So you literally have to battle. Like, okay, here's the paradox, because there's like the desire. I went through this. Oh my gosh, I know I could help. The brain's like, oh, you're no, sister, hell no, right? And whenever it's a safety issue, the brain will always win. So you have to understand as you walk through, that's what you battle. And so the antidote to that in my world is, if there is the desire in you, the desires of the Father, right? It is that, to me, is the sacred. It is, if you have the desire, like, thank God I don't have the desire to be an accountant, because that would just be a train wreck. I would destroy businesses if I'm having to manage the spreadsheets, right? But I have the desire to do what I do. So all the things are provided. And if you just trust, okay, if I have the desire, that desire is not me just being a weirdo or manipulating or making stuff up. That is my divine mission, desire of the Father, like pushing through, saying, do that. That's your expression. And you just got to trust it. You just got to trust, like, okay, I'm supposed to do it. Show me the next step, and show me the next step, and show me the next step.
Right. And being open and receptive, knowing, I love that you added that, because this is so very important.
Yes.
I mean, we stand in our own way, right? Nobody stands in our own way, really.
Exactly.
And the mind needs to be trained. It needs to be trained. We have to learn how to drive, how to take the wheel of the mind into our hands and drive it, because it's such a phenomenal technology that we can, we can use for our benefit. But if we don't learn how to do that, then it uses us
Yes, it's a
venues.
train wreck. Yeah, right. You're going off the bridge.
Yeah.
Well, and so the other one, so that was if you're brand new. The other one, the other place I work with is you're in a business and you want to pivot.
Mm-hmm. Or
And
expand, right?
expand, right. So what I know is what got you here is not going to take you there.
Mm-hmm.
And many people, I was taught, when I came into this industry, it was you create a program, one program, and you just run it and run it and run it and run it, because after the third time it's profitable, blah, 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 whatever, because you know all your admin costs. After one time, I'm like, okay, that was cool. Next, that was next. You know what I mean? A lot of us we're just fast processors. We're just like, awesome. And that doesn't mean we're flaky or we have ADD. It's just like, oof, I want to experience something else. Or that was cool, but yeah, no, that wasn't, nah. Like, and so if you are open to where your soul is taking you, your business is not going to be the same as it was in 19. I mean, my website is the same as it was 7 years ago, but I'm working on it. But my offerings, my being, my marketing, who I am today, there's not even a shred that's the same as it was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right. And so there's the part of us, there's the security, and then there's the freedom. Security is, you already know, come on, you already know for this. You've been doing this summit. You've been doing this conversation. Come on, just stay there. It's making good money. Everybody knows you. It's selling. And a lot of people choose that. And then they come to me, they're like, I hate this thing. I want to burn this down. If I have to do that talk one more time, I'm going to shoot somebody, right? And so the expansion is, why would we not? Like, I believe we're the same stuff of the universe, right? The stars, the cosmos, there's not an end. It just keeps going. And why would we then not be of the same nature? And especially if you're tuned in and you're exquisitely listening, there are things that are going to be like, ooh, that delights me. Oh my gosh. So it's either I'm tired of this, that divine discontent, like, ugh, I can sell it. But so number one, you notice the energy. Always notice the energy. When you show up for this conversation, are you light? Are you heavy? Are you approaching clients like, okay, let's go have your session now? Or you're like, oh my God, I love that comment. Let's go, right? So you want to notice. For me, I'm committed to that. I only want to work in that space. Now that means there's an uncertainty. So there's like launching here. You jump off of here, and then there's the void. And what do we do in the void? Well, we get a little grinchy. We're like, right? Because sometimes the void means there's literally less money. There is literally a pause. There's literally like, I'm stopping this program. I'm pulling away from this revenue stream, trusting that I plant the next thing and it will take time. And so then there's a whole lot of tools in there. Like, how do you stay faithful to the vision and understand that it doesn't, the appearance of lack right now isn't, right? It's just a seed. So there's a lot of work around that. And then it's a lot of, who do you have to become? Mm-hmm. So it's literally, it's a big identity piece. It's like, you were this and now you're this. Now maybe you're a bigger leader. Maybe you have more reach. Maybe you're bolder. Maybe you're not taking shit anymore. Whatever it is, like, there's a whole, like, whoa, like I said, what you got here isn't going to take you here. And in fact, this will fall away. So there's a lot of work there. So that's the other piece I do.
Thank you. That was so enlightening for me as well, because I'm definitely one of those people that constantly doing new things.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
And I literally sometimes feel that I want to almost, push the brakes on myself, because I'm like, I haven't even finished that, and already that is calling me. Like, come on, hold on a second. And oftentimes I'm really spinning really, really fast. And now that you're giving, that permission, I'm like, cool.
Well, and here's the thing. You have to find mentors and teams that understand you. Mm-hmm. Because you could be shamed for that behavior. You could be like, wow, what's wrong with you, Flake? Like, I mean, people could, instead of seeing the magician in you and the brilliance and the way your mind works and like, you're so in tune with your soul. You are like that. But if you have a mentor that's more like in the 3D, like, well, what's your revenue plan for the next 6 months? I'll be guided. I don't know. Shit'll fall in. That's my revenue plan, basically, right? And if you have a team, I used to be like, okay, we're going to do this, start the pages, getting all ready. And I'm like, oh yeah, new guidance, scrap that. And that can be maddening if people don't understand the magic of you and why. But when you're tuned in, like if you're like this, like you and I, oh, so stuff is super potent. Like I can create stuff out of mat, just boom, 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 just following guidance. And very often, and you probably do this as well. Like I have this, I'm very proud of this. Let me tell you, I'm very proud of this. Working with my marketing guy, and I said, I've always wanted to create a membership community. I always want to do this. He's like, well, what are you waiting for? There we go. Perfect question. What are you waiting for? Well, I don't have this, and blah, blah, my website's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why didn't you just do it? And so I did what I just talked about. So I just went to 20 women that I knew. And I said, I'm doing a thing. I'm getting practicing what I preach, right? I'm doing a thing. It's going to be $97 for the month. I'm going to give it to you for $47 because you're the founding members. And I'm going to treat this not like it's a stupid little $47. I'm going to treat this like you're paying $1,000 a month. And I'm going to honor this. I'm going to pour everything I have. And I have to tell you, this little community, I just started 2 months in, has brought me so much joy. I mean, it's growing. New women are being added. It is magical, and it defies all the things. I have no web page. I've never sent one email. I mean, maybe by the time you're reading this, I'll have something done, or you're watching this. But I just was like, I followed the guidance, right? I want to do what I like. There's desire. I have connections, and I just put hand messages, like personal. Hi, I'm doing a thing. I would love to include you. Now, what didn't I do? I didn't have that on my revenue calendar. I didn't market. I didn't do a launch. I didn't have, my VA's like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, there's a thing. Here's a tag, right? Like I didn't wait till all the things I just followed, and the word bliss is it. I'm loving it. I'm serving at such a high level. And I know this is going to be a really magical part of my business. And it defies logic because I'm doing a lot for $97 and I'm loving it. And then I have the higher end clients, right? So don't get pigeonholed into, well, I have to only charge this. You know, I've been around like, oh no, I have to have my rates. I have to raise your rate, or maybe do something you love, right? So that's an example of just being in the flow of just following what you are guided.
I love it. And, you know, I also know from my experience that money follow speed, you know.
So much so, yes.
Right? So when you have that burning desire, just go for it. Just set in motion, because once you're in motion, you create movement, you create momentum, things are happening and, you know, unraveling and created and beyond your wild imagination. And I think what holds a lot of us back, maybe it's a good idea to bring it up, and I want to hear what you have to say as well, is that idea of perfection, which I find also, you know, like almost a trauma response. Like I have to have it so figured out and so well, right? And truth is that nothing is perfect, and that you will forever look back and think, I could have done it better. Great, right? Because that means you evolved. If you look back and you wouldn't do it better, oops, you haven't grown at all. Right. So what is your take on that?
So good. Oh my gosh, thank you. This, like, I just feel like you gave me a bone to chew on. I love this conversation. So underneath perfection is shame. Shame is, you know, if I'm not perfect, then if I'm not, you know, like, and I've worked, this is how we met. We had a conversation on shame. I was on your last summit. And so I model, it's really important to me, because I think in our industry, it's very easy to be like, oh, here's my 7-figure business, and oh, there's my fancy car, and all photoshopped, and I'm all, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of sucked this moment. You know what I mean? Like we need people that are real. Because if you're sitting there and looking at the shiny, perfect ones that just seem to have the silver spoon, it could be true. And sometimes, yeah, they have it on the outside. On the inside, things are not so great, right? You and I probably know the back end of some of those businesses, and you're like, ooh, and you don't hear about this and this and that. Like, that's not the public facing, right? So there's this appearance of, if you're not that, you're not enough. If you don't do it this way, if you don't have this level of, you know what I mean? And so I just want people to know, you can just be you. I'm so fully me. You notice I swear sometimes, and sometimes I say God, and it's really important to be very authentic in my world. So I'll tell you a couple stories. I was doing a webinar, and I was a fabulous webinar on messaging. I was really excited, and I'm all set. I did all these beautiful PowerPoint slides, and there's all these people on the, and right in that second, my internet service dropped. So I'm like, so I'm grabbing my phone. Well, you know, you can't record on a cell phone, right? And I can barely see, and I'm such a tech toddler. I'm like, hold on, where's the Zoom? Just a minute, hold on. And I'm laughing, and I'm like, oh my God. And they're trying to help me. And okay, I'm thinking I did a fabulous job on the teaching. Of course, I couldn't have my beautiful slides. The predominant compliment I got was, I can't believe how well you rolled with that thing. You had grace, you played with it. They were like, you taught me so much. So I'm thinking I'm teaching messaging. I was teaching being real. Because I'm just like, okay, here we go. And I'm just being really playful, right? Now I could have been flustered, I could have been, and I wasn't. I'm like, okay. So then when I'm in my community, I said, we're going to have beta for 2 months. It's beta for 2 months. Oh, I screwed all the things up. It's on Thursday. Oh, wait, I mean, it's on Tuesday. Wait, no, is it Thursday? And I'm like, it's beta, and I could just be like, okay, this is why you're only paying half price, because Therese has to figure the things. And I just hold it really lightly. And I know what I give. I know where my lane is, and I know where I get goofy. And I just am not afraid to hide. I don't hide that. I'm like, I literally, when I'm breaking them in Zoom rooms, I'm like, oh God, there's 17 on the line. How many are going to rooms? And I'm like, and they're just like 5 rooms, 4 people. I'm like, okay. And I just show that part of me, because it's so necessary for people to be like, wow, if she can be like basically falling on her face, trying to figure out Zoom breakout rooms, maybe I can take a risk. Maybe I don't have to worry about it. So it's a great lie. Again, your brain trying to keep you safe, small, stuck, right? If we're perfect, then there's the appearance. It's not true at all. Nobody wants perfect. They want real.
Absolutely. And I think this is such an important lesson. And it's so funny, for me, I, a best-selling author, and I help other people become best-selling authors. Now, English is my 4th language. I do so many mistakes. My kids laugh at me constantly. I do grammar mistakes. I definitely suck at writing, grammatically correct, and yet I can do it. So, this helps people to relate to me and say, well, if she can do it, maybe I also can do it. Exactly. So it's actually your superpower. It's not your, it's not something to hide and pretend it's not there and put a mask that you are this perfect, because you are not, and we all are not. So let's just, use our superpowers and embrace all the rest. And that will be so amazing for everyone.
Well, if you think about it, you go into a room and there's a woman that has, the red heel shoes, 5-inch stilettos, and she's perfectly coiffed, and she's got gorgeous hair, and she looks all polished. She's not the first person I'm going up to. I'm going up to the one that, maybe have a few wrinkles, maybe a little messy, but feels approachable. And so perfection doesn't make you approachable. Perfection builds a facade, because people can't know you. Like if I'm doing I call like the Photoshop, doesn't mean I can't like minimize a wrinkle here and there, but they're like, hi, life is great, everything's perfect, la, la, la. You don't see me. And we can't do our work if people can't really see us. So if you have it's got to be perfect, literally one simple word, is that true? I've demonstrated, I've been telling you stories of how I just put stuff in the world that technically is not, it technically violates every marketing rule. But guess what? It's about energy. People don't want your freaking perfect funnel. They want you. They want to feel your love, your caring, your connection, your quirks. They want to feel your goofiness or your passion or whatever it is. That's what draws people, not, oh my God, she's got the best funnel I've ever seen. Jesus, her marketing copy is amazing. Yeah, maybe, but she could be an asshole. or like somebody that has, it's just that's what you have to get. And that myth of perfection, and particularly women, like, oh my gosh, we have it. It's bounded into us, right? And so like, ask yourself, is it true that it has to be perfect? No. Okay. If it's not perfect, what would I fear? And because like, run it all the way through. Like, are they going to kill you and steal your children? Well, likely not. Well, then you can live with everything else, right? Like, well, maybe I'll fail. Okay, can you live with that? Yeah. Maybe I'll do a mistake. Can you live with that? Maybe I'll look bad. Can you live with that? Like that, when you talked about driving your mind, that's it. Because the fear is like, oh, and you're like, that's kind of nothing. That's a little speed bump. I'm a grown ass woman. I can do this. And I'm not going to let a little fear stop me. So it's learning how to navigate.
Right. And I think the fear of judgment is a huge one, right? I think that is the number one block in the road, is what others will say. And this is something we have to completely check out, because really, honestly, you will always have people that will love you for who you are, and people that will judge you for what they think you are. And that's okay.
Right? Well, here's the thing. It's not the others that are judging us. Right? Like, and I'm older, and I've done decades of personal growth work, decades. And so I literally have the ability to go, the expression, I got no more fucks to give. I'm like, I don't even care. It doesn't even, blah, 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 blah. But younger Therese, oh good God, I cared so much, right? I was so shame-based. I was so approval seeking, little codependent. I get it. But it's usually like, I don't judge myself. I have compassion. I have tenderness. I hold myself with very high regard. So it doesn't matter if you give me the side eye. It doesn't matter if you don't. Like, I know who I am. So, but if you have a faulty sense of self and you're looking for an external, like, did I do okay? And I'm sorry, getting clients to sign up and pay you money is really an external thing. Like, I put all my energy into this and nobody bought. Oh my God, I suck. I should go sell shoes, right? We've all had those moments. And so can you be, because sometimes you probably had it, I've had it, where you launch something and you're like, you're guided, it's magnificent, and
flops.
Oh God, it flops. Yeah. And you can either be like, what's wrong with me? I'm a big stinky loser, or okay, don't understand that necessarily. Perhaps I will, but my tenet is always nothing is wasted. You might not have seen it right now, but something about that creation, maybe it's going to be for later. Maybe it was just, ooh, that was a cool little self-growth piece I did. It wasn't even for my clients anyway, right? So it's hard to the judgment, but the self-judgment can be merciless. That's where I got to really like work with my people, like, stop it. Don't talk that way to yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? From all my failures, I've learned the best. That was my best, teachings. I usually cultivated so many, okay, that went wrong, that I need to change that. And then next time, it's like a whole different experience. Yeah. So they are so necessary. And I keep saying to my kids, it's okay to fail. You need to fail. Everyone fails. Please take failure as part of your success. And I think this is really important. We have not gotten that permission to fail. And I think especially in our educational system, where kids need to excel in everything, and nobody likes
it's a setup. It's a setup. Right? Yeah, it's impossible. And then they're anxious and they're miserable. I raised my kids like, we want you to be well-rounded. I don't want to create anxiety, and I don't want to create performance and like, no, don't go out and play, get that math done. So my kids got B's and C's and A's, and they were healthy, happy kids, because I was determined to let it be kids, enjoy, right? You can work later, right? So yeah, it's just different values. But there is a, where's the space where you, just who you are is perfect, whole and complete. I've got some wrinkles. Am I still perfect, whole and complete? Sure I am, right? Like we all have our things. And it's like, so the first work is self-acceptance. Can I be loved right here? In this messy, or in this magical, in this magnificent, and all the things, can I, because this myth of it has to be perfect, there's a way, and it's the one way and the right way and the perfect way. And maybe you're not marching to that drummer. And it's very easy to compare. Comparison is another one. That's another, like, oh, look at her. Wow, she's doing all the books and I'm not. Or like whenever you're in comparison, that's shame. That's making you less than. So there's so many places you got to be just vigilant about the mind.
Exactly. Compare, despair, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's a big one, because you really have to stay in your lane. And I want to bring the conversation also back to what you said. I feel that is also something that wants to be said there about you saying that, oh, but Oprah already said that, and this one already said that, and who am I compared to them to tell my story? And I want to bring it back, because nobody can tell your story, your insights, your wisdom the way you can, the way you have lived your life. And I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, I could literally say the exact same words as Tony Robbins. I probably do say some of it. There's nothing really new. Like, it's kind of we all have the same pie, and we're taking our little bites, and and somebody could sit and listen to Tony Robbins and go, God, that man's so freaking annoying. And they could listen to the same words from little Therese Skelly and like, oh my God, she's so charming. I love her. Same words. It's not the words. It's not the teaching. It's like you say, it's the life energy. It's the experience. Right. And unfortunately, I think, we devalue the intangibles.
Yes.
We devalue, right? So there have been times where I've struggled. A couple of years ago, very sick, like had terrible COVID. My son was really sick, dog died, had surgery. Like, it was a shit year, right? And I was really in the space of like, oh my gosh, my income's low. I'm barely working because I couldn't. And I had this like, who am I? Crap. If I'm not marketing, if I'm not helping, I'm a helper. I was a therapist. Like, and my identity was forged on the things I did in the world, the money I made, the people I helped, the marketing, the lives, the da-da-da-da-da. And I had to sit with I chose like, okay, you're going to take 5 months off and you're just going to sit, watch a little Ted Lasso, had some gluten-free cookies. But I was just like, okay, no emphasis on that external stuff. And it was an interesting, right? And I was able to get like, no, you're loved. You're always loved, regardless of what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're selling, who you're helping or not helping. You fundamentally are loved. Now, when I rest in that place, there is no other comparison. And we can be in the room, and I know I'm just like a little love bunny, and I know who I be, and I know what I radiate. But it took me peeling off the false identity. It took me off the things, and I worked really hard to get to that 6-figure mentor. Blah, 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 blah. I was clinging to that thing, right? And then it was taken away, or I gave it away. But I was like, whoa. And so when you don't have a strong sense of the inner you, it's easy to go, well, she looks so much better. He's saying look at him. Look at that marketing copy. Like, right. And so I would just say, if you went through something and you were called to then share it, it's yours to share, right? And one thing that I want you to hear really strongly is that there's somebody out there that is literally praying for you. Somebody is on their knees, laying on their bed, just like, please. And on a soul level, it's you. I know you agree with this. You contract with people that are going to be supporting you, going to be guiding you, going to be getting you to that next level. And if you're like, oh, but who am I? You're not helping them. So I'm like, if I'm on a soul level, I know that I have people that are literally begging and pleading, praying for me, waiting for me. I'm going to step up. That's mine to do. And I don't care what the little gremlins say. Well, you don't have a website. You don't have, go lay down. I got a soul to serve there. Right. So it's bigger than just, again, you got to get out of your mind and understand the depth of the calling. And so how dare you play small? How dare you like, but I'm afraid. Okay, do it afraid. Right. Like, so that was my soapbox. I'll let you jump in because I get all preachy on this one.
Thank you for that. I love it. It's when you understand that you've got somebody to serve that is literally, as you said, praying for you, then the mission becomes bigger than you. Then it's bigger than your insecurities and your mind blogging, whatever is happening in your mind. You just understand that this is on soul level, your mission to help somebody else, and how priceless it can be if you had time to sit with your younger self, right?
Oh my gosh.
And coach your younger self. How much pain could you possibly avoid and overcome quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what you can do for somebody else, and it's priceless for them. And so when you step up for that, you are aligned with what you came here to do.
That's so well said. Exactly. You are helping them avoid years, decades, damage, bad relationships, failed. I mean, you're like, absolutely. If you're there, I love how you said that. That's really good.
Thank you so much, Therese. I have to bring this beautiful conversation to a wrap, and I know that you have a beautiful gift to share with the audience. I'll let you talk about it and share what it is.
Yeah, so this is a brand new thing. This your audience is the first people that are seeing it. It is called what is it called? It's brand new. So I have a quiz, basically. I have a quiz. There we go. It's a quiz. It basically it's what are the blocks to your mission? Like what's in the way? And so it's just a quick quiz, like, 10, 12, 15, like it'll take you 5-6 minutes. And then I'll show you the places where you're blocked, right? Because there's like 5, and sometimes you got more than one. You got this one and this one together. And I give you a really good summary of like, oh, this is where you might be blocked. Because we all have unconscious blocks, right? And so it's just a little understanding of like, whoa, you got this and you got this, and here's some ways out of it. So super easy to do, very instructive.
That's amazing. And Therese so kindly also giving us another gift for the VIP members. So that is another why you should go and get this series and have a lifetime access so that you can revisit and re-listen and have all the beautiful, delicious bonuses. So tell us about that.
Okay, so this bonus alone is going to make you, whatever that VIP cost is, you're going to like 100x with this bonus. Okay. So I'm going to do a live training, not digital. You're not going to just get some videos, and you're going to be live with me for 2 hours. One of my specialties. Now, who it's for is service-based business owners. Okay, because what I know is that service-based business owners often have a very hard time owning their value, figuring out why people should work with them, figuring out what makes them unique and how to price that and why they should price it. So I have this process. So cool. I just did it in my community, and they were like, oh. So the goal is 2 hours with me, very interactive. I'm not going to just be lecturing. We're going to work it. We're going to get in there and go, why should somebody hire you? And by the end, everybody always is like, oh my God, I got to raise my rates. Boom, that's what I want. Okay.
Great. So if you're ready to up-level your rates and really get into there and do what you're here to do and do it with success, you really want to get that. So get a VIP. Yes. Get that, and you will get into the live workshop with Therese and all the other yummy, delicious things that we give you for your ascension, for your growth, for your contribution in the world. So thank you so much, Therese, for being here. Thank you for what you're doing. It's such a pleasure always to talk to you. I just want you to mention what is the best place for people to find you. Where are you?
You can go to my really old website, but I wish you wouldn't. Find me on Facebook, personal page, Therese Skelly, Therese Skelly. It's there's not the business page, personal page, but you can go to my website. You really can. And if you're interested in just figuring out, like, if you want to know about the community, the membership, or anything, just reach out. I'm super accessible, and so you can find me there.
Great, thank you so much. So sending you blessings and so much love, and I just love vibing with you whenever we meet.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you for what you're doing. Yeah,
and thanks for hosting this.
Thank you so much. And for the rest of you, if you have any comments, any feedback, any questions, please you can comment below. And until the next time we meet, all my love. Ciao.